Bruno, it's been a difficult evening. What, in your view, is the difference between the two sides tonight?
Oh, obviously, they scored a goal. We couldn't get our goal. Create some chances, and we couldn't find the net. Obviously, they did it in a little in a cross where we were. I think we defended very well in the first half. We didn't give many chances away. They had some corners, but main thing in football is scoring goals, and they did score today, and we didn't.
Obviously, with no trophy at the end of it, no Champions League, this is ending up being one of United's worst seasons in a generation. Luke Shaw's just come out and said that you as players need to look at yourselves to decide if you're good enough to play for Manchester United. In your view, as one of the senior players in this squad, are your squad mates good enough to play for a club like United?
No, I don't. I don't have to speak from the point of view of the other ones. I can speak for myself. Wasn't good enough. Season wasn't nowhere near what it should have been. We knew this trophy would make things look a little bit better, but still the season was bad, and we have to deal with that. Luke is right. Everyone else needs to look at himself now, and decide what we want to be from here and going forward.
How do you assess where Manchester United are as a club right now? What do you think needs to change now this summer to get it back to where you think it should be?
There's been a lot of things that needs to change at this club, and I think everyone is aware. It's not for me to point the changes that have to be done. I can't make that change. So anything that I say wouldn't make any difference here.
What can you change? What can the players change?
Try to be better, try to do more, try to find a way of improving ourselves and help the team to win games.
For yourself, looking further forward, without a Champions League, it comes with financial implications for the club. Do things like that, do they affect your future at Manchester United?
No, it's not the first time that happens. Being in Europa League have always happened that. My point of view has never been the financial side. So if I want to go for a financial side, I will always have the option to go. But that's not the thing. I think what I want is to win trophies and be involved in the best competitions. As obviously, next season we won't have that chance.
When we spoke to Rúben Amorim, he was more convinced than ever that he's the right man to take this club forward and to change what needs changing. Do you see his vision? Do you believe? Can you give the Manchester United fans the belief that he is the right man to turn the club around?
I do think he's the right man. Without a shadow, I don't think what happened this season shows exactly what he is as a manager. Obviously, it's the results always talk louder. But I do think he's the right manager for the future of this club. Either with me or not, I still think that he's the right man.
Thanks for your time, Bruno.
Thank you.
Luke, how much does that hurt?
I think the worst it possibly can. It's so damaging. I think not obviously just tonight, but also we know how big it was for the future. The things with coming with winning Europa League, Champions League for next season. A lot, but it hurts a lot. It's, to be honest, this season it's not been good enough. I've just said it in there, but I'll say it here again. I think us as players, we have to question, are we good enough for Man United, because this season's not acceptable. I think where we are in the league, the results we've had, it's not acceptable for a club like Manchester United, that has won multiple trophies, has always been one of the biggest teams in the world, and at the moment we're so far away from that. And I think us as players, we have to take responsibility for that, because we're the ones that are on the pitch that need to deliver, and not just tonight. But I think it's been a whole season that it's been nowhere near good enough, and it sounds a bit silly, but of course I can only say sorry to the fans. I think they deserve everything. I think to go through the season, to stay with us, to always be supporting us through a really tough and bad season, but they're always there. So I can only apologise to them for the season and just say thank you so much for the support. We do really appreciate it.
You said you mentioned that fact in the dressing room to the players, that you have to question whether you're good enough for this club. What was the reaction from your teammates? You're one of the senior players, saying it must have had an impact.
To be honest, it wasn't said. I just said it. Sorry, I meant in that mix zone then. But you know, I stand by fully that. I think we do. After results like this, the season we've had, we have to question ourselves. And then yeah, it's about where we go from here. I think Rúben for sure has a plan. He knows exactly what's needed at this club, and I'm sure he'll turn it around.
Appreciate your time, Luke. Thank you. How do you assess the defeat on the pitch tonight?
We suffered a goal. I think we, especially in the second half, we were in controlling of the game. We had situations to score. We try everything. I think we start quite well the first 5-7 minutes. Then we lost a little bit control of the game. We suffered a goal, but then the rest of the game we had clear chances to score. We didn't score.
Why did you wait so long to make any changes in personnel second half?
Porque like you saw, I think you saw the same thing. We started the second half quite well. So change just for the people to see that I changed something is not my way of doing things. We were on the top of the game, and when I felt that we need a different player, I put a different player.
Thoughts, of course, now we'll turn to the sort of bigger picture at Manchester United. Yesterday in the press conference, you mentioned how many things need to change, but yesterday wasn't the moment to talk about them. In your view, what does now need to change this summer?
If yesterday was not the moment, imagine this moment. This moment is not to talk about, is to give space to the winners and to deal with the pain of losing this match and to go forward.
Obviously, without the Champions League that came with the victory this evening, how does that affect the summer? Does it affect how quickly and how much you can change?
That is clear, but that is not the important point. We will find a way to make the team better.
Are you confident still that you're the man to be able to deliver those changes?
Yes, I'm confident that I'm still the guy, more than the beginning. So I know it's going to be tough. I know that we lost against an English team. I know the patience of the fans are going to be really short in the next season. But I guarantee you, I will not quit. I will not go away. So I'm really confident.
Why are you more confident now than you were?
Because I know the club, I know what it means to coach this club. I understand what the team needs, so I have more tools to do my job.
Obviously, all of the United hierarchy were here today with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the Glazers, Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox. Are you confident they will give you enough time to implement your change?
I'm not worried about that. I can leave in the next. If they say Rúben is better to change, I will leave in the next day with no compensation. I rely so much in my confidence in the way I do my job. I'm not worried about that. The biggest pain is to lose games and to lose this final, and not to give something to the fans and especially to my players. So whenever they want, I'm really confident on myself, and I continue to do my job if the board wants me.
Thank you, Rúben.
Thank you.
Confident than ever in his ability to do this job. Do you think he is still the right guy?
I think he needs to be afforded a window. I think you can't invest in a manager and not give him the ability to kind of shuffle the pack and get some players in that fit the profile of players that he requires to implement his philosophy. I think that I've said this before on numerous occasions. His way of playing compared to the past regime is very, very different formation and in terms of what he wants them to do in the output. So it's not like he's a manager who's coming out to tweak a couple of things because his philosophy and the identity of his team was similar to the past regime. I think he needs more time. He hasn't had a pre-season. He hasn't had time, as Gareth said, on the training pitch to coach these players as much as he would like, I'm sure. So I think he needs a couple of those things and a recruitment window to really then give him real judgment and be as harsh as you want to be. Because listen, there's no doubt, and I think he said it himself, it's been a terrible season. It's been a disaster of a season domestically. And now not winning this after putting all your eggs in this basket, this is a disaster as well in that sense. So I think, again, rather than be emotional about it, like there will be a lot of people out there that are, and they're entitled to that. But in the cold light of day, I think he needs some time. And like I said, those things that I said before.
But there's been so much said about how much pressure Ange Postecoglou is under this season, Glenn. Do you think he should be under more pressure? They've only won 2 Premier League points since the start of April.
Well, I agree with Rio. I think he will be under pressure if he doesn't start well next year. The first 10 games are vital for United next year. He didn't really want to come, did he, when he wanted to come? He wanted to come at the end of the season anyway, but they said, no, it's got to be now. So he hasn't had to play any players that he really feels are his. And he hasn't had the time to bed down the system. They've never played 3 at the back, United, over the many, many years. Now, he has to look at himself maybe in the summer to say, in the Premier League, can I make this work? It was different in the Portuguese league, playing for Sporting. So at the end of the day, he's got to look at that first, and then he's got to go out and get recruit the players that suits that. At the moment, they've got a batch of very good, apart from Fernandes, I think they've got a batch of really good players. Nothing world-class, nothing special that particularly this club, Manchester United, have always had in their squad.
What will the pressure be like, Gareth, then, at the start of next season now?
Yeah, of course it's going to be extremely high, but I think everyone at the board, I imagine, wanted that manager. It's kind of up to them now. If they've made the right decision, they should back him. I think he clearly believes in himself, and I think he did a great interview then. He really was respectful to Tottenham, the winners. He didn't create any big headlines with his answers, so I think that showed a true bit of class as well. So I think if the board think he's the right guy, they've got to back him. And like I said before, I think next season now, he will have time with no European competition. He'll have time to work on things on the training field because they'll have no midweek games.
Is that the one positive thing, that he will have that time with the players? Because perhaps in their current situation, the Champions League may have been a poison chalice for them.
Yeah, I think it'd be impossible for him to say that publicly, but I think deep down, him and his coaching staff will be rubbing their hands together in some sort of way, going, listen, we can now get our hands on these players a bit more and kind of mould them to what we believe is the right way to play.
And he's actually said they're not ready.
Yeah, and not ready. I just don't think. I don't know if they're not ready. I don't think he has the profile of player to play the way he wants to play. I don't think he has the players who are physically capable of going week in, week out, man to man against any team in the Premier League and coming out confidently on top. Until he gets that, I think the way he plays, he needs to have players who can do that. Yeah. And that's why I think the recruitment period now is going to be vitally important.
I think that midfield area for United has been a massive problem. I mean, even the first half here, Spurs didn't have the creation, but the 3 in there for Tottenham tonight smothered them. Totally smothered them first half, and they couldn't get hold of the ball. They couldn't get themselves into the game. And I think in that, when you think of the players they've had in yesteryear in that midfield area, they've got to look at that. Whether you're playing whatever system, you've got to have that right. He's been swapping players and trying to find a little system that's going to help them when they have the wing backs. But I don't see a real clarity of the way. The best they've played was at Anfield. They caused Liverpool all sorts of problems in that 2-2 draw, and they went long. They didn't pass out, and they got 46% possession, playing long, playing no goal kicks, squeezing up to the halfway line. They still got enough, and they caused Liverpool a lot of problems. And I thought then, hang on, the pennies all dropped here for these players, and they look threatening. They look like the tough team to play against in that system. It can be. Tonight, they run out of ideas again.
You can see he clearly doesn't have his type of player to play his way. He's kind of had to, I guess, adapt and try and use the players that he's got to make his style. So I think giving him some transfer windows, getting the players in that he wants to play his style to suit his way of pressing, playing, whatever it is, he needs that time, and I think that's the only way he'll be successful here.
And the club knew how rigid his approach was when they brought him in mid-season, so I guess they have to give him those players to give him a chance. And
that's why I believe they will give him that chance, because they all know there's people in there, Omar, Jason, Wilcox, they understand football. Jason's played the game. You know how important a pre-season is for a player and managers to really implement their philosophy and get their things right and fine-tune things. That pre-season window of opportunity on the grass is hugely important. And another thing, if they thought this season was a pressure cooker for these players, this next 10 games that started this season, the pressure is going to be super high, and these guys have got to be ready to bounce into this season and really hit it head on.
Was it embarrassing? Did the players look embarrassed when they were heading off the pitch, walking past?
No, I just think it's disappointing. I've been there. I've been on the pitch where you've not got the result you wanted, and you lose a big game in a cup final, whether it's Europe or domestic. But it's disheartening, it's embarrassing, your pride and your ego's hurt. There's pride and ego, there's huge egos out there. You don't get to this level of football without having a big ego and putting your shoulders back and thinking, I am the man. But you get humbled quickly in these moments, and you've got to deal with it, and the summer becomes a long summer. But you want it to come, pre-season to come as quick as you can and get your studs back in the grass.
You're disappointed when you've lost the final, there's no doubt about it, but you can't allow that doubt to come into your mind as a team and an individual. If that engulfs you, then it's a negative and you're going to go down. You've got to embrace it, and you've got to fight it, actually, and take the challenge on. Look forward. It's hard at this moment in time in that dressing room, but look forward to a pre-season. Believe in the manager. It's easy when you've won. Spurs will be looking forward to it, after they've had a few drinks tonight with Sonny. But at the end of the day, you doubt yourself and you've got no chance.